right, it is Tuesday. Welcome to KSAT News Now. Nice little wave there, Steven.
Yeah, a wave to start the day. This is the last thing I'm doing for my Tuesdays, but really you're just getting your day started.
Nice. Yeah, get my day started. So I was remarking right before, I was like, yeah, there's like 3 different things that I'm kind of working on at the moment.
Hey,
but
the hustle never stops.
No, yeah, always got to keep grinding. You know?
That's the way it is.
Slow feet don't eat. That's all.
What?
Slow feet do not eat.
Oh,
that's
Is that what's
I
that?
think it's
Slow
like a former
feet do not
slow
eat?
feet don't eat. Yeah, it's kind of like a reference. I think I heard that once from a football player at one point. Yeah,
and I heard it from RJ.
Working hard. You're always working hard because you're here in the morning.
Yeah, I would like to say so. But we've actually had a pretty nice few. Well, today was nice. We did not really see a lot of traffic out there, and I think it's really because kids are staying home. A lot of people are probably watching us, hopefully from their iPads or just from the comforts of their couch, just really enjoying it. And don't forget that we are streaming and podcasting from our newsroom, so that's always really cool.
Yeah, we have got you covered in several different ways, and of course, looking at our bite-sized newscast today, developing news this morning about a San Antonio staple and a bit of a winter tradition. So we're going to tell you about the fate of the Cowboy Breakfast here in just a bit.
That's right, and this morning, pressure and tension along the border as thousands of migrants wait on a decision on Title 42, and why you have to think ahead if any of your Christmas get-togethers will actually include alcohol. I actually just had one, and you know, you always got to prepare ahead of time, really.
Yes.
I mean, because it is pricey.
It is, and there's some interesting laws that along our states here that you need to keep sort of mindful of, especially as you get set for the holiday parties. Always a good time, family, friends.
Yeah, you know, obviously, it's, you know, with that, you can always expect that costs, and you want to know exactly what the rules are, so we play by the rules, play it safe.
You don't want to show up and be like, oh boy, I totally missed the boat on this. But but first, we're going to start with a 1 year. I mean, and this is unbelievable that it's been 1 year since Lina Khil. You may remember this precious little girl. She vanished from her family's apartment complex, and San Antonio police continue their search for the toddler, but some worry if she will ever be found.
That's right. According to police, Lina, who was 3 at the time, was last seen at the playground of the Villas del Cabo apartment complex. This was off the 9400 block of Fredericksburg Road. That was actually 1 year ago today.
Yeah, and according to police, she was with her mother and other children between 5 and 6 p.m. in the early evening. Her mother told police that she had left and that when she returned that Lina was gone and has not been seen since.
That search actually stretched from the apartment complex to nearby green belts and creeks. At one point, the community joined authorities in their search for Lina, but since her disappearance, there has been little to no luck on her whereabouts. This is obviously one of those stories where I remember minute by minute, we kept on getting just, you know, the search efforts kept expanding and expanding. I think one of the recent stories, our Patty Santos on the Night Beat was able to speak to some of the residents of that apartment complex, and they were worried that the case may actually be on the back burner now because it's been so long and there's not been really any answers. Yeah,
very sad. And actually this morning we got an update, well, not really an update, just San Antonio police. They released, you know, basically where they are at with the investigation. As we've been mentioning, they are still looking for this little girl. Right on our website, KSAT.com, we have posted that video that police released. It's on YouTube, but they also released some new footage of Lina at the playground. This is the first time I'd ever seen some of this surveillance video. But obviously it has not led to any sort of tips or any sort of leads that can find Lina, who at this point would be 4 years old now.
Right, and McManus has still declared, I think he spoke to our Erica Hernandez and Lee Waldman on their South Texas Crimes podcast, it still declares this is a missing persons case, according to McManus. And you know, at one point we know that the leaders of the Islamic Center of San Antonio were offering more than $250,000 for any information on her whereabouts. So I know that they've reached out for comment. We haven't heard back from the center just yet, but we know that that investigation obviously still active, but little to no answers. And really important here, contact 210-207-7660 if you have any information on Lina's whereabouts.
Yeah, that was I'm glad you mentioned that because they are still pleading for any information on this precious little girl, again, who has not been seen for an entire year. That is hard to believe, and hopefully they can get some sort of information. Maybe the surveillance video, someone recognizes maybe what they saw, or what they may know. And man, it's just it's a very, very sad story.
Yeah, blink of an eye. Yeah.
Well, moving on to another big story that's been taking place over the past 24 to 48 hours here. Suspense is mounting at the Texas-Mexico border about the future of migrants seeking asylum. And this comes as the Supreme Court issued a temporary order to keep pandemic-era limits on migrants still in place.
This has been a pretty controversial topic. Conservative-leaning states are pushing to keep Title 42 in place. Now, this allows officials to expel many, but not all asylum seekers. The policy was set to expire tomorrow, but in a last-ditch appeal to the Supreme Court, conservative states actually argued that an increased number of migrants would take a toll on many of the public services such as law enforcement and healthcare, and warned that there could possibly be more chaos along the border.
Yeah, we've seen just thousands of migrants that have gone up to the border in anticipation of Title 42 potentially being lifted here. So Chief Justice John Roberts granted this stay, and this is of course pending a further order. He's also asking President Joe Biden and his staff to respond by 5 p.m. today. Now, the Department of Homeland Security said the agency would continue its preparations to manage the border in a safe, orderly, and humane way when the Title 42 public health order is potentially lifted.
Yeah, I mean, we know that pressure is building along those communities on both sides. El Paso officials say shelters in Juarez are packed to capacity. I was reading about this as well, with an estimated 20,000 migrants who are prepared to cross into the U.S. And we know that conservatives have also added that the federal government has no plan to deal with the increase in these immigrants. But back in Washington, we know that Republicans are set to take control of the House, and they plan to make this one of their primary issues.
Yeah, and I mean, this is absolutely it's obviously a political issue. It's a humanitarian issue, and I mean, as complicated as this is, I mean, there has to be some sort of common sense answers to what we can do here with when it comes to immigration. I did a story yesterday with Corazon Ministries, and they have been basically assisting some of these asylum seekers. Either they give them a place for shelter for a day or two, give them a meal, a shower, and then they allow them to move on to their next destination, or they transport them to the airport. And they said that here in San Antonio, not only them, but other nonprofits are awaiting this potential wave of migrants to come through our area. Obviously, they make their way up from the border. They get bused to, you know, whatever cities that they need to go to, and then they kind of move on from there. But you see those visuals there, and there are just lines of people along the Rio Grande River there in El Paso. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You're from El Paso, and you know, I'm from the Rio Grande Valley. We both grew up along in border communities. You know, really the issues changed in the over the decades, really. So to see that, it's still obviously a very controversial, and you said political and humanitarian issue. You know, I know a lot of people are waiting for answers on that. So
absolutely, especially like you mentioned along the border. You know, I talk to family about this all the time, and they agree there is no easy answer to this, but something has to be figured out here. Hopefully, there's some sort of common sense agreement down the line here. All right, moving back here closer to home, a San Antonio tradition. This is a bit of a bummer this morning. Will not be taking place this year, but guess what? It's not completely gone, so that is some good news.
Yeah, we're talking about the 45th annual Cowboy Breakfast, and this was actually scheduled for January 27th. Well, guess what? It's not happening, but the foundation announced that because of its community support, they are already planning for 2024. That feels like a long way away, but good news there.
Yes, it is good news. I mean, a one-year hiatus here, and this is, of course, for an in-person event. Remember, obviously, during COVID, they did different things here for the Cowboy Breakfast, but this time around, organizers said that they just were not able to meet their timeline to pull the logistics together to hold the breakfast next month in January, and the foundation board, get this, also announced a new partnership with WellMed as a primary sponsor for the 2024 event. So that's good news. This way, kind of ahead of the game now a little bit here.
And in the last 44 years, the breakfast has served over 1 million tacos and handed out $250,000 in scholarships. So this is not just an event about the food. It's obviously about what it means to the people that really benefit from this, which are those students. And, you know, I remember at one point in 2021, I believe it was last year, the tacos were being made but served to first responders, people in the medical field, people that were helping during the pandemic, because we know their job has not been easy. But you know, I know this is an event a lot of people have lined up for in the past, and it's a little bit of a bummer to see that we're on that 1-year hiatus, but the good thing is that they're still able to plan this out.
Yeah, definitely. So they obviously want to go about it kind of the right way, and that's why they're deciding to just put this on ice for just a little bit for a year, so it's not completely gone. And as you mentioned, this is a big community sort of gathering, something that a lot of people look forward to. It's the unofficial sort of start to the rodeo. Which is always kind of the big thing, like, here we go, it's almost like rodeo time. So yeah, it's kind of the family-friendly way to kick off the rodeo.
Yeah, you know, but 2024 will be a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I talked to some of the organizers earlier, because I'm going to try and follow up on this later on for some of our newscasts, and they said that they still are donating money to St. Philip's College, and also going to help first responders out as well. So yeah, it's not completely lost. And they did get a lot of support here.
The meaning is still very much alive. Well, hey, TikTok, I know that...
We're talking a lot about TikTok.
I don't even have TikTok. I know a few people here at the station do. I am not a TikToker, but hey, users will now be able to find out why particular videos are actually suggested to them in their feed. This new feature was announced today and aims to provide context to content users actually see.
All right, well, good. I guess putting, I guess, what is it, the curtain a little up or whatever?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, going behind the curtain. All you have to do is tap on the share panel and select the question mark icon that is called "Why this video?" Pretty simple. After that, users will see reasons why that particular video was recommended for your feed.
Yeah, some of the reasons are based on interactions or accounts a user follows. TikTok also says it could be because a post is actually popular in a region a user actually lives in. So, you know, that's pretty cool. You know, it gives some, again, transparency.
Or a little curation there. You know, if you're in your area, hey, this is kind of a big thing going on right now. So the company states that the feature is just one way that they will work to be upfront with users of the platform, and they hope to expand the feature and bring more granularity. Wow, that's a tech word if I've ever.
Oh yeah, granularity and transparency.
Yes, to content recommendations, curations, algorithms, a lot of big.
We talked about this. We talked about this earlier in the week with regards to the algorithm of TikTok, and how there was a study done by this nonprofit organization where they created these fake accounts that were teens, but they were liking posts that were associated with pretty harmful behaviors, just to see how that would impact the algorithm. So that has come under fire. So TikTok, I guess maybe this is a way to respond to that. I mean, you know.
Did you know that KSAT has a TikTok?
I did know that.
We have a TikTok, and we just did a TikTok
Is that
video.
What your amazing video was, Sarah? I saw it on several platforms.
On TikTok, but also on other platforms. But you should follow us on TikTok. You
definitely.
absolutely should. Shout out to producer Alyssa, who also produces this awesome show.
There she is.
Yeah, so we definitely are active on TikTok, so check it out. I wanted to talk about our big cold blast coming our way here in just a bit, but first let's talk about today. Here's a look at the satellite and temperatures. We're kind of locked into clouds here in San Antonio. There's actually plenty of clearing skies out near Uvalde, but with clouds moving in from the north, it's going to be hard for us to shake the cloud cover. So as we look at the next 24 hours, know that we could see a few peaks of sunshine this afternoon, but it's still going to be a cool day. High temperature in the mid 50s, and then tonight should be chilly with temperatures in the 40s by about midnight. All right, let's talk about that cold blast of Arctic air expected to arrive Thursday. This is a look at current temperatures across the northern tier. That cold core of air is getting closer. It's 36 below in Edmonton in Canada. So very cold core of air, absolutely. So that cold core of air is going to spill across south central Texas as we head into Thursday. Thursday is going to be one of those days you're going to want to watch GMSA on Thursday, because we'll have single digits in the Panhandle and temperatures in the 50s down in Brownsville. So even as we go throughout the day toward noon, that's when we expect the front to approach San Antonio. Again, single digits in the Panhandle, near 80 degrees down in Brownsville. Then that front is going to hit us in San Antonio around the midday hours, and temperatures are going to drop like a rock. By Friday morning, we're going to be in the teens on Friday morning. This is a look at the forecast lows on Friday morning. 18 degrees in San Antonio, the low teens up in the Hill Country. We're talking 12 in Kerrville, 10 in Comfort. Just about all of us should be around San Antonio at or just below 20 degrees. And on top of that, the winds are going to be howling from the north, so we could see wind chill values in the single digits in San Antonio. Perhaps it'll even feel like it's below zero in the Hill Country on Friday morning. Now, with that being said, we are still going to be seeing plenty of sunshine on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So even though we'll start off with hard freezes in the morning, we do anticipate, at least in San Antonio on Friday, getting above freezing. In the Hill Country, though, it could be below freezing for more than 24 to 48 hours. But again, this is not going to be like the winter storm of 2021. And I want to put that in perspective for you. Back in February of 2021, we had 107 hours straight below freezing. That's 4.5 days. Whereas this week, we could see perhaps at most up to about 48 hours below freezing. Also, with the February 2021 storm, we had crippling ice and snow statewide. Meanwhile, this week, we're not going to have any precipitation. In fact, we're going to have plenty of sunshine across the state of Texas. And then the coldest we were in February of 2021 was 9 degrees. Right now we're forecasting 18 in San Antonio. That's about a 10-degree difference. That means there's not going to be as much stress or strain on the power grid as there was back in 2021. So yes, you still need to prep for the hard freeze, those 4 Ps, people, pets, plants, and pipes, but know that this is not going to be like it was back in February of 2021.
Some relief there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I love the way you guys have done this, Sarah, of kind of breaking down sort of the differences, because obviously a lot of people kind of go to that storm in 2021. So great job by all of our meteorologists kind of showing sort of the comparison and the differences here.
Yeah,
by the way, we're also going to be able to go live right to your phone and to YouTube on Thursday
good.
as the front is moving through. So be on the lookout for that.
KSAT weather app.
Yep, we're going to be with you throughout this time. I know there's a lot of anxiety anytime we mention freezing weather, cold weather from that winter storm in February 2021. But we want to put everyone at ease and just know that this is not totally unheard of for us to get this kind of cold here.
This really does put it into perspective. 107 hours straight back in February 2021.
Right.
I mean, that's a really long time. And 48 hours, almost 48 hours this week. I mean, huge difference there.
Big difference. Yeah.
And as Sarah's mentioned, follow them, download the app, KSAT on TikTok. Again, she had a great video that she and Alyssa put together, kind of breaking this down as well. So great stuff.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks,
Thank you very much, Sarah. All right, as we get set for Christmas week, we of course are only 4 days away from the big day. And if you've made your list, maybe checked it twice, be sure you have marked off alcohol if you need it for a holiday party, and here's the reason why.
That's stressing me out. I mean, not the alcohol part. I mean, really more so just getting everything on the list. But let's talk about
de-stress.
Hey, but you know what? Texas law actually does not allow liquor sales on the holiday like Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's. But this year, it's a double whammy because both Christmas and New Year's fall on Sundays. So you also won't be able to buy liquor the following Monday.
That's not a very Texas.
I don't know why. Like, that. You know.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You'll still be able to pick up some beer and wine at your local grocery stores.
That's fine.
Yeah, here we go. But just like any other Sunday, Texans are not able to purchase the alcohol until 10 a.m. What are they doing to us?
Oh, hey, we need the champs for the mimosas. But hey, these are called blue laws because of the color of the paper they were once printed on. They first passed this law in 1945 as the Texas Liquor Control Act. Again,
those Texas blue laws always come back around.
Yeah, you know, I'm traveling to see my folks down in the valley this week. So, you know, my parents usually have like stacked stuff, and really we're not hosting anybody.
Okay.
We stay at home. I'm more of a wine and champagne drinker, and I love my tequila, but responsibly, obviously. But plan ahead, seriously.
Yeah. Do you have a kind of a favorite drink, or like maybe a holiday drink that you maybe concoct?
So I made this the other day. I called it Jolly Juice. I won't give you the recipe, but it does involve dry wine, and it does involve a lemon seltzer So, you know.
Okay, all right. Well, you got me very interested there. Jolly Juice.
It involves cranberries too,
Yeah.
and I did
okay.
purchase edible glitter for this.
Okay.
So it's super festive.
Okay, very nice. I just kind of stick to the classics, like an old fashioned or something like that. Which super producer Alyssa has said that what is that? A fancy drink? I call it classy.
Oh yeah, I love an old fashioned. I love a classy drink.
Yeah,
an
but that's
old-fashioned's
usually
great.
nice, you know, something kind of warm
Some
you up. But
rye.
yes, obviously, drink responsibly this week, and make sure if you need to pick up any liquor, just be aware of these stores and these hours and all sorts of.
But to be honest, I'm more focused on the tamales. That's just me.
Well, you can't go wrong with that. The tamales are food. Yeah, definitely something that you probably should plan ahead for as well, because a lot of these tamale places are probably doing big business right now.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and shout out to super producer Alyssa back there. She's been doing some recording. I don't know what this is going to be on later today.
I look forward to that.
She's just shaking her head at us. Yeah.
Well,
all right.
We're going to see you early tomorrow.
Yes, so I'll be hanging out with Steven, Justin, and Mark Austin for Good Morning San Antonio throughout the morning. Really excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But you still got to be back here at 11.
I still got to be back here at 11. Yeah, we'll be doing that as well. And hopefully you guys will be back here with us. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for being with us.